everybody, to the Parenting and Bonding with Children's Books podcast, where we believe that books are magic and have the power to transform homes. On this podcast, we talk to the authors behind the magic to find out their true intentions behind the books. We are here tonight with Wendy Fedan. Hi, Wendy.
Hi. Hi, Quinn. So glad to be here.
So glad to have you. How are you today?
Doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing okay. Your background is so colorful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the butterflies, and I see old school typewriters. Am I seeing that right?
That's right. Yes, yes. That's part of
Okay.
what I do. That's part of the work that I do on a main my main thing that I do is illustrate things like that.
Okay. I
Yeah.
want to. We didn't even get into it, but I want to
I
ask
know.
you: Is there, is
Yeah,
there?
no.
Can you tell us a story behind the typewriters? Is there a story there?
Oh, well, it's basically just I'm just really well, the typewriters normally, if I didn't have these headphones on, I would be wearing my typewriter earrings too. So, like, that's kind of like, of course, since I'm an author, the typewriter is a symbol of just my passion for
Yeah.
writing, of course. And that's actually how I started writing, was with my grandmother's old typewriter, not even electric. And I typed my first book when I was a young teenager on the kind of typewriter where, of course, the keys, when you type the O's, I would type them so hard that they would type holes in the paper. It
On
was
just
funny.
the O, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just the O.
there's like wow and pow, like they deserve some aggressiveness.
That's right. That's right.
They do. So for those of you that are listening, because we air these via video in our Facebook group and on YouTube and all those other places, some of you are catching this just audio on the podcast. And Wendy has these beautiful illustrations behind her of butterflies. I see trees. I see, of course, we just talked about the typewriters. So if you wanted to grab a look at that, I would encourage you just to click the link and come over and watch us on video. But so Wendy, can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks. Yeah, my full-time gig is doing freelance illustration for a company that creates shoppers, totes, tea towels, which is what the butterflies are behind me. It's a tea towel,
Oh,
and scarves and pouches and things like that. And they're sold all over the country in these souvenir shops. Like if you go to a zoo gift shop or a national parks gift shop, something like that, you'll find some of my stuff there, which is really cool. So sometimes it's kind of fun when I travel. It becomes like a scavenger hunt. I went to Mackinac Island, and we did kind of like this tour a little bit through northern Michigan. And I went from gift shop to gift shop looking for my bags, which was really, really fun. I had to ask my client, though, I was like, which gift shop should I look in? Because I didn't want to be on a wild goose chase. But but it is kind of fun,
yeah.
like a little yeah. It's just a fun search to do. It's a little add something special to the trip for sure. And when I find one, I'm like,
Yeah.
yay, look, I found my bag.
That is fun. So instead of chasing landmarks, you're chasing gift shops.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And I've always wondered how museums curate like the different like things in their gift shops and things like that. So it's interesting to actually meet somebody whose work has been curated for a gift shop, for a museum, or some other fun place like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So I feel like you have so many things that you do just in this world of publishing. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, that's right. My full time uh, gig is illustration,
Hmm.
but let's see, I like how I got into publishing was, I've always been passionate about it. When I was, like I said earlier, when I was a teenager, I started typing out my books to be all official,
Yeah.
and and I actually tried to get published when I was a teenager after I wrote my first novel on 104 pages of typed paper.
Wow.
But of course, of course that didn't work. I mean, I wasn't like a genius child or anything. I just loved to write. So of course the publishers could tell this was, not a professional author, I guess, submitting their work, although I did my very best. But it was really cool. I did. So of course, when I got rejected, of course I got pretty sad about that. And I ended up getting angry at myself for dreaming, which was a bad way to think about it. But it is hard. That's what authors go through. That's what, we go through rejection. We go through these phases where it crushes us, when we have to go through that. And so years and years go by. Thank goodness I didn't destroy all of the book. I did destroy some of it, which was not a nice thing. But the worst parts of the book, I decided to just burn, just because I was so mad. But I know, and this was before computers, so it was gone.
This is how the O got wiped away.
That's what O got wiped away, exactly. But thank goodness I saved the best parts, and when I read through them years and years later, I realized, you know what, this isn't bad. This is actually, and I'm so glad that I saved all those things from the past, because I remembered it was all fresh back then. And I was able to, when I rewrote, I was able to rewrite it, revisit it in my, I guess my 20s. I went back to that original draft and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to revisit this and just rewrite the whole thing. And there was one chapter I barely touched at all, because it was actually a really good chapter. And I ended up turning that 104-page book into a 3-part series called Wearing My Weird. So it's kind of like a middle grade type series for middle grade age kids.
Wow.
And I added some fun little, very loose illustrations in there just to have fun with it, and have that little touch of whimsy. And since then, and the reason why I put them out was because I discovered the world of self-publishing, and it's not the way it used to be when my grandmother self-published and what she had to do. Yeah, when it was back then, you had to buy all these books and sell them, and it's not the way it is anymore. You can do the print on demand, which is absolutely a gift to authors. You don't have to spend a penny if you don't want to publish a book. So I took advantage full force and put those books out, and I've been learning ever since how to keep doing it, how to do it wisely, and I've been enjoying the journey ever since. I think 2013 was when I put that first set of books out. So. Yeah.
Awesome. I just want to say, just to go back to the beginning of your story, kudos to you for submitting your work, your 104-page kind of present to the world, right? Because not a lot of people, especially teenagers, would do that. Maybe more so now than before, but that was really cool of you to submit it. And I wonder, because today I know that we have like editors who actually work with you. Like they'll read something and they'll feel the magic and they're like, well, it's not quite there. Maybe I can help. I know we had like an acquisitions editor one not too long ago, Winsome Bingham, and she loves getting stuff that she can fix. Like she delights in getting stuff that she can like see the magic, but she's like, if you give me something and you think it's perfect, I don't want it. Like I want to be able to help you, guide you through. So what would you say to Wendy at that age after writing that 104-page piece of work and thinking about submitting? What would you say to Wendy?
Well, I would definitely say, look, it's not trash for firstly.
Yeah.
And just I would say, just don't lose hope. Don't let that rejection get to you. Because there was one rejection letter that did come back that was actually a really nice rejection letter. It was actually very encouraging and positive, which I should have. I don't know if I kept it or not. I probably let it, fly away at some point, you know.
Yeah.
But it was, I would definitely just tell myself to keep keep going, don't give up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. I feel like I'm remembering this wrong, but I'm gonna try to go into it. Chef Julia Child. I saw the movie that they did about the
Oh,
woman who was like following her recipes, and she wrote a blog,
yeah.
and the blog was all about like her recreating Julia Child's recipes. And it dug. Did you see the movie?
I did not. I've been wanting to.
Okay, and she kind of like they went into Julia's life as well. And so we saw her like submitting, if I remember correctly, like over and over again this cookbook that she wholeheartedly believed in, and it get rejected, and then her this editor like, I'll take it. Like finally saying like I and it's like this getting this cookbook out was like the whole like it was this whole thing. So and now we all
Wow.
know Julia Child, you know. So it was
Wow.
just that's what I was thinking of when you were talking to young Wendy. Like, don't give
Mm,
up, but
yeah.
keep the faith, have hope, and this is so many of our kids, and it's the reason why we do this show. One of the main reasons is to keep encouraging our children. The passions. Oh, this is perfect. The passions that you have now can drive you into what you do in the future.
Mm,
And just because you feel like you may be young, or well, such and such became this person when they were 45 or 55 or 35, there was so much work that may have went into it before then. So don't lay down your passions, now. You
that's
can
right.
be that writer, that zoologist, that scientist, that DJ, whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And I
Yeah.
know when we first connected, you told me about a book that you have, The Very, Very, Very Bad Good Day.
Yes.
Okay. And I was delighted to see it because it was like you read it one way, then you read it the other way, and then there's like a different story, like, depending on. Tell us about the book, Wendy.
Yes, thank you. This was, I think, the first picture book actually that I put out for myself, and I wanted it to be a non intimidating project for myself. So I decided to actually produce it with black and white illustrations instead of color, because I also wanted it. It was a very important book to me, and I really wanted it to be as affordable as possible. So I just did the black and white illustrations, because color just costs so much to
Hmm.
produce, and you have to
Yeah.
charge so much more for people to be able to afford it. But anyway, it's basically it's a story. It's actually a flip book. So and because it's a flip book, for some reason, uh, KDP or Kindle Direct Publishing, they wouldn't allow me to do it because of that flip book feature. For some reason, I guess they just
Mhm.
couldn't figure out how it would actually work, I guess, on their system.
Okay.
So anyway, I was like, okay, whatever, I want to produce it anyway. So I used lulu.com. So it's a flip book that shows half of it shows the story of a boy going through his day and starting out in a bad mood, and it just gets from bad to worse.
Mhm.
And then the other side, when you literally flip the book over, it
Yeah.
goes from a good day to a bad day. So the good day is the exact same day, the exact same things happen to him. He's in the exact same circumstances, but he starts the day with a good attitude instead. So what I really wanted to do with this book was show, just literally illustrate and show kids and people, kids and grown-ups, what your day is like when you like how your negative attitude affects what happens to you as well. It's not
Mhm.
just an internal thing. It affects you, but it also affects the people around you and how they treat you. There's one part in the book where he's just sitting moping in the back of the bus and thinking, oh, nobody's talking to me, everybody hates me. But when you look at the picture, no one's paying attention to him really. They're just going along with their day, but it's his
Yeah.
negative attitude and his perception of what's going on, which is real in his mind, but it's obvious in the illustration. Everyone's just going on with their day, and he's sitting in the back being all grumpy. So yeah.
Yeah. You know why I love this book?
Mhm.
Obviously. Now that we're learning the true intentions behind the book. And I had no idea you did black and white so that it could be more affordable for you and more affordable for everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, what's lulu.com?
Oh, I'm sorry. Lulu.com is, there are lots of different options for self-published authors out there, lots of
Mm-hmm.
different ways to publish your books, different platforms. Kindle Direct Publishing is only one of them.
Yeah.
And Lulu.com is another one. And you can do a print on demand situation where all you have to do is upload the PDF file of your book, and it's in their system, and all someone has to do is click the buy button, and it'll print it'll print a copy of your book and send it directly to that purchaser.
Oh,
Yeah, which is nice. You've
that's
also got the option to buy a bunch of books for yourself too, which I like to do, so I can have them for festivals and stuff, and so I can mail them away to people or give them away, whatever. So yeah.
okay. Thank you for telling us that. So I want to circle back because the reason why I love that book is because it's so relatable, obviously, to the lives of so many parents and their kids. I tell Aiden all the time, like when my son Aiden, he's 8, he gets into like a mood or
Yeah.
something will happen and he'll, just have this negative attitude. And, he'll take it out on me. I'm a single mom. It's me and
Um,
him. Take it out on me. And I'll say something like, you can sit on the couch or go to your room and have your negative attitude by yourself because I am not at fault here, but I'm feeling like you're taking that negative attitude out on me and it's not fair.
oh yeah.
So that's one thing. And then I I love that it teaches our kids like accountability,
Yeah.
like taking accountability for the way. I mean, we all know I'm a sociology major, so there are outside factors that affect things, but we won't get into all that. But we're but we're in charge of our day.
That's right.
We're in charge of our day, and we can't the way other people treat us we can't control,
Yeah.
but we can control how we react. We can control the energy we put out into the world. And then books like this that we can use as a tool to show our children in action. Like, look, like he thinks everybody's worried about what he's doing, but he's not. Like, look at the picture, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it starts that conversation, that important dialogue that we have with our kids. And I even see it asking, like when we ask the right questions around the book, like, have you ever been in that situation?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you? What would you have done? I don't want to talk too much. It's about you, but we have this
No,
engage
no.
method. We have this engage method that I introduced maybe like a month ago, and it's like a simple approach to an enjoyable story time. And every letter of engage has like a tip for a way for you to engage with your child with the book. And the whole thing is about bringing your child into the book with you. And one of them, I won't go through all of them, but one of them is notice something on the pages with them. And for notice, pointing to parts of the book, like look at how his face is, like the attitude he has, and look at the people around him. Like, have you ever felt like that? And then
Yeah.
the G for gathering feedback by asking simple questions. I told parents, you don't have to ask like SAT questions or like
Mhm.
test their reading comprehension, but just simple questions like that. Has that ever happened to you? Have you
Yeah.
ever? I keep saying the same questions over and over, but those are the ones that it just keeps speaking out to me as you talked about your book.
That's
So
so true. Yeah.
can you show us your book? I'll give you the
Oh,
screen.
yes. So this is a flip book. So, so yeah, this is the bad day part, and then you flip it around, and that's the good day part. And basically, you read through, and you see all these all these images of, you know, what it's like with his good day. You know, this is an example of what happens. You know, he comes down the stairs. He comes down the stairs in a happy mood in this one, and he's saying all these positive things. And there's no dialogue with his mother, but you can see his mother down at the bottom making him eggs, and she's smiling. You can see she's smiling in the kitchen because she's her son's in a good mood this morning, you know. And then you flip it around with the bad day, and the same situation. He's coming down the stairs, but he's all Mr. Grumpy Pants and complaining. And his mom is down there in the kitchen. And, you know, that's an example of what you're talking about, where you can say, you know, the mom's not saying, there's no dialogue, you know, but you can see she's down here and she's like, oh, not another one of these mornings. So, of course, what happens with his eggs, when she's making his eggs this morning, they're not going to be very nice eggs. You know, they're all runny eggs. She's just looking forward to getting rid of them that morning. So, so that's an example of little taste there of what happens in the book, and what you're talking about when you're looking at the book with the child and saying, hey, look at the mom down there. Does she look happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what he's saying, how that's affecting his mom down there in the kitchen, and she has to listen to all his grumpiness, you know. How is that affecting her? And then on the next page, how does that affect him in return? You know, his bad attitude has affected how his mom makes his eggs.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like when you live with somebody, or even like a college roommate or something, just anything. And
oh yeah,
you know, you know what kind of attitude they have. So you try to like wake up first and like, you know, start your day, and you're like, oh, it's like you're walking on eggshells. You don't
oh, yeah.
like,
Speaking of eggs,
speaking of eggs,
yeah.
you don't know, you know, what kind of attitude they're going to bring to the table that day, and it can feel just so, can give you so much anxiety. Or as an old boss of mine used to say, gives me agita every time. Every
good.
time she walks in, because I just, you know they're going to bring the heat, like they're going to bring it. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And I know you said you had a middle grade series as well.
Yes.
What other books do you have for children?
I have lots of picture books on my website, which I know you'll share the link later. And so that's my passion, is writing and illustrating books. And I've also got books on my website that were written by other people, and I illustrated them and designed them and helped those people put their books out. So that's why they're on my site as well. So I like to help promote them, especially since I was involved in making them. But I also, with the middle grade books, I really have enjoyed, I have that Wearing My Weird series that's based on, it's a 3-book series that was based on the story that I wrote when I was a teenager. And it's basically a memoir type series about my move from Canada to the United States, which was really awesome. And anyway, then I've got a new series that I'm developing called Somewhere in Between. And it's more of a lighthearted paranormal type series. So it's got a very Stranger Things vibe to it, because there's a lot of humor in it. The characters are very lighthearted because they're all young teenagers. And one of them is a ghost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's very fun. Very fun.
Interesting. So, if I ask you, what would you say is your mission as an author or illustrator,
Oh boy.
illustrator?
Yeah, well, Mike, I know this sounds like a selfish mission, but right now my mission is to put as many books out as I want at this point, because I'm just so like in that creation mode where I have so many ideas and I just want to get them out. But as far as the mission for my books, all of my books, it's never about just the story for me, of course. It's not, but I also want my books to be fun and enjoyable to read. Even if I have a deep message, I really want whoever is reading it to enjoy reading it, and not just, so I'm not one of those authors that's writes in a really deep, profound way. I admire those writers, but that's not me. I like to really make it a conversational tone when it comes to my novels, so that the reader just bang, bang, bang goes through those pages like nice and fast. And it's a fun, easy read, even for kids that might not really enjoy reading. So that's my goal too, is to hopefully find those kids that might not enjoy reading so much and give them a book that they actually can enjoy turning the page. And that Good Day, Bad Day book, I was so thrilled because my mom has that book, of course, at her house. And my new little nephews, they actually enjoy it. And they're not big readers. So I was thrilled when she took me a picture of the two of them reading the book, and they keep picking that book up and reading it, which totally thrills me to know that kids are enjoying the book. I really love that.
That's awesome. And you need that picture, right? Because sometimes our family will tell us, yeah, it's awesome.
And of course, yeah. Of course, I have to share it on Facebook. Oh, looky.
Well, why not? That's the best thing. I know, the hearts of authors is just seeing their books in the hands of more kids and more families. Yes. So I want to tell you guys, you can find Wendy on Facebook as well at Wendy.Fedan. So she told me before we came on how to pronounce her last name, because I was going to say Fedan.
Everyone does.
Sedan, like sedan. And my mind is so crazy that I don't know why I started thinking of Dan from Roseanne. As soon as you...
That's funny. Yeah.
As soon as you said it. So anyway, you guys can find her at Wendy.Fedan. I'm sorry for that noise. I thought I put on my do not disturb. Okay, cut. And then this is her website again, cawpublishing.com. Is there anything else that you want to share with families about your books?
Well, I feel like we covered quite a lot, but yes, please do visit my website. I have a contact page there as well. So if you're an author too, and you have questions about self-publishing, I'm happy to answer those for you, just for friendly advice, because I love helping other authors through their journeys too, and encouraging them, just letting them know that traditional publishing isn't the only way to do it anymore. And self-publishing, you can do some pretty cool things with it.
So, you can. I'm so thankful for authors like you and the authors I've met along my journey, because my background in books is all traditional. I grew up in the library and worked at Barnes and Noble. And so, at the time, all that was put in front of you was traditional books. And then trying to find, actually on my search for more diverse books, the self-publishing world had just a plethora of those books available. So along this journey, I've come to discover like so many different authors like you. And so it's been amazing.
Thanks. And you're so right about self-publishing being so much more diverse, because that's absolutely true. And the reason for that, in the self-publishing world, they don't have an editor telling them what to do. If someone has a vision, you can put it out and there's no one to tell you can't do it, which is awesome. I love that.
I love that. Awesome. I often sing my words as well. I love it. Thank you so much, Wendy, for being with us today. I really appreciate you. And thank you. For all of you watching, make sure you check out Wendy's website, cawpublishing.com. Again, for those listening on audio, cawpublishing.com. We were here with Wendy. I just like saying your last name, so I want to say it again. We were here with Wendy Fedan again today. And thank you all for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.